Coming up on today's episode of the Steve Freeman Podcast, Joe Rogan's controversial comments about the coronavirus vaccine. My thoughts and more coming up on today's episode. I'm Steve Freeman. This is the Steve Freeman Podcast.
You're listening to the Steve Freeman Podcast, the real, raw truth about the pursuit of success in music, business, and life. Here's your host, hit songwriter, multi-platinum selling producer, and serial entrepreneur, Steve Freeman.
Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of the Steve Freeman Podcast. It is so good to have you here. While you're here, don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. Take 30 seconds out of your day and leave us a written review. If you're watching this episode on the new Steve Freeman Podcast YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm and leave us a comment on what you thought. Today's episode, I think, is going to probably be very active in the comments section. And that's okay. That's a good thing. I want to hear what you think, whether we agree, whether we don't agree. It doesn't matter. Engage. That's how things change, is when people engage. So feel free to leave us a comment. Also, best way for you to get a hold of me is to text me. And you can do that by texting me at 949-577-8227. That's 949-577-8227. You want to engage with me? You got a question? It doesn't really matter. That's just how we did away with email because I don't do well with email. I hate email. I hate returning email. It's just a fact of the matter. But I'm a texting person. So you want to talk to me about something? Text me. 949-577-8227. And follow me everywhere on social media at the Steve Freeman. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Clubhouse. I even did a couple guest speaking things on Clubhouse over the last couple of weeks. Been kind of fun. But you can find me anywhere and everywhere at the Steve Freeman. Or if you want to go to the website, you can do that too. And that is thestevefreeman.com. Very easy to find. I want to talk about Joe Rogan. I want to talk about the vaccine. I want to talk about his comments that he made earlier in the week regarding the vaccine. And I purposefully left and did not include any advertising, any sponsorships that we normally have. I left them out of this episode for a reason. Because of the nature of the topic and the sensitivity of what we're going to be talking about today, having to do with the virus and the vaccine. I may have a differing opinion or a differing view from anyone that may advertise on the podcast. Now, I want you guys to understand, I did not reach out to them and give them the option. I'm just choosing to not include them in this episode. So it wasn't like there was a conversation. They said, we wish you wouldn't. Nothing like that. I will never be censored by anybody. You can't pay me enough money to keep me quiet. I just chose to not include sponsors and advertising in this episode. Earlier in the week, some of you probably already know because it's gone viral. Many times when Joe Rogan says things, because he has such a large audience, this has gone viral. And I think it should go viral. Today, I'm going to share some opinions, but honestly, I hope each and every one of you understand and know that a lot of the things I'm going to say today have more to do with it coming from my heart than it does my opinion. Although I will say, most of the times, it's my heart that forms my opinion. And I also want to say that it's okay if you don't agree with me. I'm always up for healthy debate. Like I said earlier, things only change when people with differing opinions get together in the same room and have a discussion. Both parties have to walk into that discussion, however, with an open mind. That's the problem in our country right now, is that nobody has an open mind. If you're on the left, you're 100% right. If you're on the right, you're 100% right. There's no room for give and take. There's no negotiation. There's no open-mindedness to be able to think about somebody else's perspective, somebody else's point of view. If we really want to define what it would take to make America great again, quote unquote, it's going to start with you and me. It's going to start with us having open minds to be able to sit down and talk about important topics of the day with open minds and being willing to see something from somebody else's perspective. That being said, I do not want to paraphrase what Joe Rogan said about the vaccine. I don't want to read what he said. I want you to hear it directly from his mouth. So we have grabbed the clip. It's a little over 2 minutes long. I want you to hear him say exactly what he said, and then we will discuss it further. But here's Joe Rogan earlier in the week.
And people say, do you think it's safe to get vaccinated? I've said, yeah, I think for the most part, it's safe to get vaccinated. I do. But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I go, no.
Yeah.
Are you healthy? Are you a healthy person? Like, look, don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. You should, if you're a healthy person and you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, and like, I don't think you need to worry about this.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
But there's a lot of jobs that will tell you need to have this.
Well, that's what's starting to happen now.
People are worried about them doing it for their children. And we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
There's that you might have to have your children vaccinated. And, you know, I can tell you as someone who's both my children got the virus, it was nothing. I mean, I hate to say that. If someone's children died from this, I'm very sorry that happened. I'm not in any way diminishing that, but I'm saying the personal experience that my children had with COVID was nothing. One of the kids had a headache. The other one didn't feel good for a couple of days. Yeah. Like maybe, I mean, not feel good. Like no big deal. No coughing, right. No achy, no like in agony. There was none of that. It was very mild. It was akin to them getting a cold.
Yeah, and you can have this thing where it's like you were saying, this virtue signaling and this kind of like theatrical display of I get the vaccine, what a good person I am, I care about everyone. But you're like, look, my daughter's a lot younger than your kids, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not injecting my daughter with something to fucking virtue signal. Right. Like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
If there's something that she's of no risk, statistically has no risk from, right. I'm sorry, I'm not taking any experiment on her in that. And that's my attitude toward it.
But it's amazing that that's controversial.
Yeah.
That even saying that I'm not going to inject my child with the vaccine is controversial.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Because, again, we are not talking about even the flu that we just found out killed 22,000 people last year. We're not talking about that.
Right.
We're talking about something that is not statistically dangerous for children. But yet people still want you to get your child vaccinated, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like,
all right. Let me say that I 1,000% agree. 1,000% agree with Joe Rogan. I have had the conversation with several people. Now, I fall on both sides of this. I have my best friend in the world got the vaccination. I have differing points of view and opinion on this. But with what Joe Rogan is saying, and based on statistically what we know about the virus, if you are young, if you are healthy, if you are not at what the CDC and Dr. Fauci, who I'm sorry, I think is an idiot. The guy can't make up his mind. I'm sorry. A lot of people disagree with that, and they think that Dr. Fauci is the second coming of Jesus Christ. I don't agree. I think he's a fucking moron. Sorry. I've met a lot of doctors who I think are fucking morons. He can't make his mind up. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear 3 masks. No, now we really need to wear. Look, I just, and he came out and of course, the minute somebody with a large enough voice like Joe Rogan comes out and says something like this, the White House, Dr. Fauci, the CD, I mean, they could not respond fast enough. And which is one of the problems that I have with this whole thing is that we're supposed to live in a free country and we're supposed to be able to give our thoughts and say what's on our mind and express our opinions without the fear of enormous and detrimental repercussions. But cancel culture kicked up really quick on Joe Rogan. I mean, it has several times, but over this, he has gone up against the political establishment. I mean, he has gone up against the big boys with this one. But I've seen 2 sides of this thing. One, my best friend in the entire world went and got vaccinated. And I have worried about him. Seriously. On the other side of this coin, we have had a family member that has died due to the vaccine. Got coronavirus, recovered from it, was in the at-risk category being older, went and got the vaccine and died from complications from the vaccine. So this is not something I read. This is not something that, so-and-so. No, this is a member of my immediate family that has died as a result of the vaccine. There have been now more than 7,000 people that have died as a direct result of the vaccine. Now you go online and people go, oh, well, if you ate an apple yesterday and passed away tomorrow, could you say that the apple caused them to die? Okay, no, because we know exactly what's in a fucking apple. Unless somebody choked, I don't think that there's one case in the history of mankind where the apple caused the death of a human being. And if there has, I've got people that listen, and I'm sure they will be popping in the comments, and I will be getting the DMs. I get it. But take choking out of the equation. I doubt that that an apple has ever caused the death of someone. The simple reason when somebody asks me, are you going to get the vaccine? I say no. There are two major reasons why I have this view, why I have this opinion. The basic of them all is this. If you say, Steve, are you going to get the vaccine? No. Why? Because they want me to get it too fucking bad. That's why. This thing is, and look, I'm not one of these, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I've been not the COVID-19 vaccine, but my wife, myself, my kids, we've all had all of our shots, all of our vaccinations. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in vaccines. I don't, however, believe in a vaccine that was created within the last 12 months. I don't believe in a vaccine where the federal government has given blanket immunity to every company that is manufacturing it to protect them from legal action as to the results of reactions of what might happen when somebody puts it in their body. I am against a vaccine when the federal government or the health department or the CDC is not requiring any of these companies to tell us a list of ingredients of what's in this vaccine. But again, at its simplest form, I'm against it because they want me to have it too bad. And anytime, look, it's a horrible thing. Coronavirus was horrible. It was a pandemic. It was horrible. But I, like Joe Rogan, I believe if you are at risk, and even now with what's happened in my family, I don't even know that I would say if you're even in the at-risk category, that I would take the chance on getting the vaccine because of what it's causing. There have been thousands and thousands and thousands of cases of women, healthy women, having miscarriages. This is all documented proof. This is not conjecture. This is not opinion. This is fact. We were talking about it here at the house last night, and I said, when you watch these drug commercials on TV for Lipitor or whatever they are, all these different health conditions, and they list off all of the side effects. My immediate thought was, okay, if a drug that they want you to take every single day of your life to manage symptoms and or illness of whatever type, if something they want you to take on a daily basis causes those type of side effects, what kind of side effects come along with something that you have to take once? Or maybe twice, or now they're even saying you might have to get vaccinated more than once, more than twice. The fact of the matter is we don't know because it's been around for less than 4 months. We have no idea. The government's not requiring for them to tell us what's in the vaccine. We don't know. It's trust us, and I don't like that, especially when it comes to the government. Just trust us. The government does absolutely nothing efficiently. Nothing. Look at any government-run agency, institution. It does not do anything well because it's not there to serve the people. It is there to serve the people that serve. And that is not a Republican opinion. That is not a Democrat opinion. That is flat an opinion. I think there are good people that want to go into public service. I think there are great people that start out and have great and wonderful intentions. I think what happens shortly after they get there is they realize they are in a self-pool of self-service. How can somebody like Nancy Pelosi or any of these other congressmen or senators go in being worth $300,000 and now worth $300 million on a public servant salary as a congressman or senator. How's that even possible? So do I trust the government when they tell me I need to have this vaccine? And now they're trying to take a step further. They are trying everything in their power to get these vaccine passports passed. They're going to try to corner us into having this vaccine. And again, this is not some out there wild conspiracy theory thought pattern. Go read and research this for yourself. It's real. If they had their way, they would institute these vaccine passports that would not allow you to travel, that would not allow you to do many different things that a free people should be able to do if you cannot prove that you have had this vaccine. We just got a thing the other day that my daughter's going to be going to the University of California, San Diego. They want and are going to try to mandate that all incoming students, all students, must have the vaccine. One of the ways that anti-vaxxers have gotten around this forever is because there's always been a religious exemption. You can say, look, it's against my religious beliefs. I'm not injecting that in my body or my kid's body, and you're fine. Connecticut just became the first state to overturn the religious exemption when it comes to the COVID vaccine. Why in the hell do they want us to have this vaccine so bad? That scares me. One of the other reasons when people say, well, are you going to get? No. And here's the reason. All you guys want to go get it? Great. If the vaccine does what it says that it's supposed to do and what the government tells you that it's supposed to do, if you've had it and I have it and we're in the room together, we're good. You can't give it to me. I can't give it to you. So why do you care if I have it? I'm not even talking about herd immunity. I'm just saying it's a matter of fact. If you put 100 people in a room and 50 people have it and 50 people don't, whatever nomination you want to use, 90 people have it, 10 people don't, you can't pass it back and forth to each other. Here's the problem. These are facts. Any of the company, whether it's Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, whatever it is, these are facts I'm about to give you. Does the vaccine from any of the companies, we'll just say the vaccine, doesn't matter which manufacturer, the vaccine, does it prevent you from getting COVID? No. Does it prevent you from spreading COVID? No. Then what the fuck is the vaccine for? There are thousands of reports now of people who have gone and gotten vaccinated have contracted COVID. Why? Why do you want me to go get a vaccine that neither prevents me from getting it or prevents me from spreading it? Why do I need to go get a vaccine? Then after I've been fully vaccinated, do I still need to social distance and I still need to wear a mask? Why do I need to have it to get on an airplane? Why do I need to have it to go to college? This makes no sense. Look, there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there. I mean, you can get into the whole geo-tracking thing and there's something that's tracking. You can get into the whole population control thing. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. But for me, at its base level, I'm not getting it because you want me to have it so bad. It scares me when I do understand the depth of what we went through with COVID. I totally get it. I don't understand the depression that people went through because of it. And maybe it's because I'm a loner. Maybe it's because I'm an introvert and I'm not an extrovert. So not being around anybody didn't bother me at all. I thrived during it because I hate being around people. So maybe that was one thing. But I understand how adversely it affected people. I understand how it affected us economically. I understand how it affected us, a lot of people from a health standpoint. We lost a lot of people died. But I think what Joe Rogan is saying here is right. I'm not telling anybody to not go get it. I'm telling you from my personal opinion, my view on it, this is my heart on it. If you push me so hard to do something, there's a reason you want me to do it. And we're talking about the federal government here. So I'm not buying the fact that you just want to do it for health reasons. I don't know what those reasons are. I'm not throwing any other reasons out there. I have no idea. I just know that if they're pushing it this hard, when you can't get on Facebook without Facebook having an ad right there at the top telling you that Facebook is concerned about you and wants you to go get the vaccine, and click here to find the nearest location where you can go get the vaccine. This is a huge conglomerate and consorted effort to get people to go get this vaccine. They want us to go get a vaccine, and they're telling us it's so important to get a vaccine. They're trying and going to try. I don't think it'll ever pass because for now, we still live in a free country. But right now, I don't think they can pass a law that requires somebody to have a vaccine to do anything. I don't think the vaccine passport will ever happen. Now, in other countries, it might. You may not be able to leave the United States and go to another country because they may, but I don't see it happening in the United States. And regardless of what this should not be a political issue. This should not be a carryover from the Trump days. This shouldn't be, Trump voters and Trump supporters are against the vaccine and Biden supporters and Biden voters are. It should not be a Republican Democrat thing. It's not that. This is a common sense battle. The government is asking me to forego my common sense and just do what they're telling me to do and trust them. They want me and they want you and they want our kids to go stand in line to get a vaccine that does not prevent them from getting the virus or prevent them from spreading the virus. Then why do you want us to have it? What's the reason? I don't know what that reason is. I'm not going to put anything out there because I don't know. I mean, I have my own ideas. I have my own opinions on it. I will go so far as to say this. I believe that the virus was created for the vaccine instead of the vaccine being created for the virus. There have been some horrible things that have played out as experiments on the American people. And this has taken so much of a precedence in our everyday life, the control that we were willing to give up. And all along when we were going through this entire thing, then it became about the vaccine. We've got to get a vaccine. We've got to get a vaccine. So we get a vaccine and everybody's like, oh, great, we got a vaccine. We won't have to worry about COVID anymore, except the fact that none of the vaccines that are offered prevent you from getting it or prevent you from passing it to someone else. Not only that, now we are starting to see, and they are trying to keep this as quiet as possible, and I get it. There are people dying due to the complications from the vaccine. And I know this firsthand because we had someone in our family this week pass away directly from complications from the vaccine. But do you want to know how his death was listed? As COVID. Again, guys, this is not opinion. This is not conspiracy theory. This is real life that happened in my family this week to a family member. You can look up these statistics. You can look up the numbers for yourself. You can look up the different stories. There is some weird shit going on with people who have received the vaccine. And I got to be real honest with you. The more I read about it, the more I look into it. And I'm talking read medical journals. I'm talking read published medical professionals. I'm not saying read the New York Post. I'm not saying read the Washington Post. I'm not saying read the New York Times. None of these biased outlets, because they're still playing the political game. Everybody, the news networks and the newspapers, they are all pushing the agenda and trying to keep us divided. Fox, anti-vax. Well, not so much anymore. But MSNBC, go get the vaccine. Do whatever you got to do. It's about protecting your fellow man. Fuck you. Just protect your fellow man. Go read the published medical journals of what's going on from doctors' perspectives on their patients that have received the vaccine. Now, I'm not saying it's a majority, but I'm saying in a lot of cases, in many cases, healthy people, and this is why Joe Rogan is saying this, in many cases, healthy people, the repercussions and side effects of the vaccine are worse than getting COVID. And again, at its base level, I'm not in a rush to go get it. I'm just not. I don't want anybody in my family to get it. I just don't think that it's been proven enough yet. And I agree with Joe Rogan in what he's saying. If you are a younger person, if you are healthy, if you are not what was classified in the at-risk or most risk, high-risk category for severe complications when it comes to COVID, why do you need a vaccine for it? 22,000 people died last year from the regular flu. We're not talking about that. Why don't we need and the flu can affect everybody. Everybody who gets the flu gets sick. And I want to echo the sentiments that Joe talked about. Look, COVID is a real thing. COVID-19 is a real thing. It's a real virus. People got really sick. A lot of people died. But to me, and this is my opinion, I believe we're overcorrecting. And if you don't understand that sentiment, it's almost like being in a car and you start to go off the road and you overcorrect the steering wheel. You go way too far the other direction. You run off the road the other side. That is what feels like what's going on with COVID, but with the vaccine. But unfortunately, there is a driving factor behind it. There is a reason behind it. And I'm sorry, when it comes to the federal government, I just do not believe that it's just about my health. It's just about me being healthy. Again, I think I keep saying this, but I want to get this across. None of the vaccines that are being offered, whether it's Johnson & Johnson, whether it's Moderna, whether it's Pfizer, none of them keep you from getting COVID-19, the coronavirus. None of them keep you from spreading it. So again, I ask you, why? Why get it? Does it make if it just makes you less likely, then I'll take my chances. But to me, if something is this serious, if it's that bad, then the vaccine that's offered for it should eliminate it. It should eliminate the possibility that you ever have to deal with it or have the ability to pass it to somebody else. How many cases of polio have you heard about lately? How many cases of plague have you heard about lately? And I feel because of what's going on and what we're seeing, have you noticed that as every time there starts to be a severe decline and people start feeling like things are normal again, there's another strain. I think we're on 3 or 4 or 5 strains now because it feels like this is the gas that's keeping the conversation going. They can't tell you with 100% certainty that the vaccination you receive now will protect you from any future strains of this. I just see, this to me is so common sense. This to me is not, again, it's not political. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. This is common sense. So when people ask, if anybody asks, well, Steve, are you going to get the vaccine? No, I'm not going to get the vaccine. I'm going to watch and see what happens with what's going on in Connecticut as they have become the first state to overturn the religious exemption when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine. So you will no longer be able to send a letter in or write the letter and go, hey, due to my religious beliefs, I'm not getting this for my child. I'm not having it for myself, whatever. More and more states are going to try to follow Connecticut. Well, what you're going to find is, and see, this is where it becomes political, and this is why it's hard not to politicize this, because what you're going to find are the Democrat-run states are going to overturn the religious exemption. Republican-led states will not. And what you find is this I don't even know the correct term, but it's like a jumbling of our country. Voting, we haven't even talked, and nobody's talking about how this is going to affect voting moving forward, because there are so many people that, like in California, take California, for example, so many people, Republicans, whatever, that are more conservative, less liberal, more conservative, they're leaving the state they love, moving to more Republican-led states that hold more beliefs true to what they believe. Then you've got other people that are leaving Republican-led. The lines that have been drawn and the lines that have been put in place to divide us are deeper and wider than ever. And every opportunity that comes along, the people that are responsible, that we're supposed to be looking to, that we're supposed to trust to represent us, they don't do the best the job they can do to erase those lines. They do the best job they can do to create them and make them more wider, deeper, and more far-reaching. Why do they want us divided so badly? I'll tell you why. Fear. They are power hungry. They love power, and more than power, they love control. When we are divided, we are easy to control. It's very difficult to overtake a group of people that are united. And look, they don't care. The people that are in charge, they don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. They just want you separate. They want to keep you separate. Because when people come together and people unite, it creates a situation where 1, 2, 3, 4 people, 50 people, 100 people can't control those people that are united. And it feels to me like an issue that should not be politicized, such as COVID, such as the vaccine. It should not be politicized, but they are using it as a weapon. They have weaponized this whole thing. This whole process has been weaponized to further divide the people. So Joe Rogan, he's getting a lot of shit from a lot of different people everywhere. I'm proud of him for saying what he said. I'm proud of him for saying what he believes. And see, we're sliding into a dangerous part of our everyday life when we're not allowed to say what we think anymore. Unless the way that we think and the way that we believe is the way that certain people in our government believe, then we're not allowed to speak out. We're not allowed, without severe retribution and condemnation, not disagreement. I'm all for people disagreeing. But we demonize the other side. We try to cancel them because we don't want those voices being heard. To me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with what Joe Rogan said. If you are healthy, if you are in the least risk category for contracting or having complications from COVID, why do you need to go get a shot or two that is not guaranteed 100% to keep you from getting it? You don't. And that is the message that the people that want to keep the control and keep the power do not want you to hear. I don't know exactly who all these people are and what their motivations are. I don't know. I keep doing a lot of research and trying to figure it out, but I don't know what it is, other than it being complete and utter control. What they want to do with that control, I don't know. But I do know over the last year, they convinced us all to completely shut our lives down. And we went right along with it, just like sheep. We've now got a virus. We've now got a vaccine that doesn't prevent the virus. It doesn't prevent transaction of the virus. But we're supposed to go get it. And people are lining up like sheep. This experiment is working. So wherever you fall on this, if you want to go get it, go get it. I'm talking, these are my opinions. This is my heart. This is how I believe. If you want to go get it, good for you. Look, I've had several friends that have had to go get it. I've got actor friends. I was just able to post yesterday. We've been keeping a secret. My buddy, Jacob Young, is joining the cast of The Walking Dead for the final season. I know he's had to COVID test over and over and over and over and over again. And it was easy. It was easier for him to go get the vaccine to try to eliminate some of that stuff. But guess what? Still has to get COVID tested, even though he's had the vaccine. Tell me how stupid that is. Just common sense, how stupid that is. If I can show you a card that says I have had the vaccine, I'm fully vaccinated, why should I have to have a COVID test if the vaccine works? If the vaccine doesn't work and I still have to be COVID tested, even though I've been fully vaccinated, what's the vaccine for? Think about that for a second. So look, if you've gone and got it, I don't think ill of you. I don't think bad of you. I don't not like you. That is your decision. It is your decision to make. If you want to do it, go do it. If you feel better about having done it, then wonderful. I applaud you. But I'm not going to. And I ask that you respect my opinion as much as I respect yours. This doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to turn into, well, I'm a good guy because I got vaccinated and you're a bad guy because you didn't. What difference does it make? If you're right, if the people that are getting the vaccine, if they are right, you shouldn't worry about being around me. You shouldn't worry about me at all, right? Because you've been vaccinated. You can't get it. You can't pass it. I can't give it to you. But where the defensiveness comes in is when, exactly like I've said, the people that have it have also been told and know that it doesn't prevent them from getting it and it doesn't prevent them from spreading it. This is all one big experiment, guys, and we are falling hook, line, and sinker for it. Again, I don't know the purpose. Other than control, I don't know what the purpose is. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and you can go check them out for yourself. But for me, I think Joe Rogan was right. If you're in the least risk category, there's no reason for you to line up to go get this vaccine. If you're a younger person that was not affected by the virus or was in the category of people that were least likely to see the most severe symptoms, why would you take the chance? And I think that's it for me. Is number one, they want me to have it too bad. Number two, it doesn't prevent the reason that you're getting it. And number three, it just doesn't make sense. This thing, it's been too short of a period of time. They develop vaccines over years and years and years and years and years of perfected study. This thing has been perfected within the last 6 months. And in all honesty, it hasn't been perfected because it doesn't prevent anything. And now we're starting to see severe complications from people for getting it at all. I don't want to go into what all those things are. I've told you my experience. I've told you facts about what have happened in our family as a direct result of somebody that received the vaccine. The decision is yours. I love you either way. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I'm all for whatever we got to do to take the control back for ourselves and be united and continue to live in a free country. Because if you're one of these people that can't look around and don't see that day by day we're relinquishing and giving up even more of our freedom, then you are wearing blinders. And I encourage you, do what you've got to do to take them off. And this is, again, not a Republican thing, not a Democratic thing. It's not at all. Because they all want the same thing. Republicans want power and want control, and Democrats want power and they want control. And they've done a hell of a job in dividing us as a people along lines that don't really matter. That's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you for being here. Again, I left all sponsors and advertisement out of this episode because I did not want, they may have a different opinion than I did, and I didn't want them thinking or anyone associating my opinion with a certain company. So I left everybody out. But thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us 5 stars and take 30 seconds, leave us a written review. If you're watching on the YouTube, the new Steve Freeman Podcast YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content. Hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm and leave a comment. Feel free to disagree with me. It's not going to upset me or bother me if you disagree with me. Make your case. I'm all for it. I have an open mind. If you'd like to get in touch with me directly, the best way to do that is to text me, 949-577-8227. That's 949-577-8227. DMs are not the best way to get a hold of me because I don't really check them anymore because I'm tired of all the bullshit that comes through. So if you want to get to me directly, 949-577-8227. Follow me everywhere on social media at The Steve Freeman. Guys, thank you for being here. And again, dream big. Work harder.